Okay, we'll come back to that. I'm very eager to learn that too. But you had thought you had suggested that the nuclear devices used to destroy the Twin Towers had been stored in Building 7.
Yes, I think so, because I believe that the demolition scheme of the entire complex was based on the Building 7. So I believe that under the Building 7 there was a special control room where they kept the three nuclear charges. One to demolish the Building 1, the second to demolish Building 2, and the third to demolish the Building 7 itself. And they had the special delivery tunnels, like a small tunnels with the mini railways, which were leading from the Building 7 underneath of each of the Twin Towers. So, and I believe that the scheme was arranged in that way. And the control room was under the Building 7.
To take your second point about fires beneath Building 7 that were long enduring, the evidence I have seen that is supposed to purports to support the idea of these ongoing fires and molten metal beneath the Twin Towers and so forth is not only very sketchy, but some of it is clearly faked. For example, there's a photograph of responders peering into a cavern, and they have exposed skin and so forth, and the cavern is glowing, but presumably they're looking into a cavern of molten metal. But if that were true, the effect would be analogous to putting your face over a tea kettle spout when it starts to whistle. The skin would have been melting off of their bodies, Dmitry, because the temperature would have been around 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So that photograph appears to have been clearly faked, and there are others we can talk about, but we also have photographs in the sub-basement of, I guess, the North Tower, where you see workers walking around. There are puddles of water. The water isn't steaming. The workers don't appear to be affected by the heat, which also seems to me to contraindicate the idea of these massive pools of molten metal. And there's an alternative explanation, which Judy Wood, for example, who's a former mechanical engineer from Clemson University, professor of mechanical engineering from Clemson University, has advanced that it's not really steam that we're seeing, but a kind of fuming or misting from the use of some kind of process that brought about the demolecularization of the building, and that it had residual effects. And I want to talk about those too. But how convinced are you that there was molten metal beneath, say, Building 7?
I read one article which was published by a New Scientist magazine. I can even give you the link now if you want.
Yes.
It's www. New Scientist, one word,
yes.
.com.
Yes.
/article.
Yes.
.ns, like Norway, Singapore, !ID equal DN 1634. I forgot the name. It's like end. You know that there is a special sign of end. I forgot the special Latin word for it. It's above digit 7.
What is the title of the article?
The title of the article is Ground Zero's Fire Still Burning.
Ground Zero's Fire Still Burning, and it's in New Scientist at that link.
Yeah, you can easily find it. So if you find this article, and it was published on 3rd of December 2001. And if you look, it's not so big article, you can finish it in 1 minute, I think. So the point of this article is that there were underground fires under the Building 7, as well as under the Buildings 1 and 2. And the fire chief who gave this information says that the fires were maybe 50 meters deep. And what is the most important in this article is that the firefighters apparently use a special radioactivity absorbers mixed into their waters to extinguish the fires, which they politely call two powerful ultraviolet absorbers. Okay, but for the people who are capable of reading between the lines, is clear what is this. Is the radioactivity absorbers. So, and the point is that the firefighters use these strange chemicals to mix into their waters, also to extinguish the fires under the building 7. That means that is the proof that the physical nature of the process under the Twin Towers and under the building 7 is the same.
Repeat that, please, Dmitry. Would you repeat that last point? The proof that the
according to this article published by the New Scientist, they quote Fire Chief Blake, who claims that. Okay, I will quote it. One second. They say that the Deputy Chief Charles Blake of New York City Fire Department confirmed that there were underground fires under the 3 buildings, World Trade Center 7, 1 and 2. And he said that the firefighters used special chemicals, which he called two powerful ultraviolet absorbers, mixed into the waters of the firefighters to extinguish the fires under the 3 buildings, including the building 7. And additionally, he said that the depth of the underground fire is maybe 50 meters.
Yeah, this whatever they were mixing in, you say, was to counteract radiation?
They call it two powerful ultraviolet absorbers. Okay,
ultraviolet absorbers.
They can't call it radioactivity absorbers because that is politically incorrect. Okay, so we should use our ability to read between the lines to understand what is this.
Yes. Now, about your claim that, if it had been conventional demolition, there would have been 15 floors of debris. My impression is from, many studies of controlled demolitions that it's more like 12% of the original height of the building that would remain in the debris pile, and 12% of 47 floors is going to be about 5 to 5.5, not 15. So how confident are you in your belief that the debris pile, if it had been a classic controlled demolition, should have been as much as 15 floors, which would be about a third, rather than 12% of the height of the original structure?
You see, I'm not a demolition expert, and I'm not a construction engineer. That's why my humble opinion has very little value. I only can use logic. So what I can say that according to that article in New Scientist magazine, now we can see that there were underground fires under the building 7, which were at least 50 meters deep, and which were burning for at least 4 months. So, if it were the ordinary controlled demolition, then there should not be any underground fires, especially that deep.
Let me ask you this question: if the mechanisms that were used to destroy the Twin Towers were the same as used to destroy Building 7, how do you account for the fact that Building 7 has already been reconstructed, and yet there's been innumerable problems in getting, rebuilding anything on the site of the North and the South Tower?
You're asking me why they already reconstructed the World Trade Center 7 till today, yes?
Yes.
I don't know. But I think it's not very difficult to rebuild the building, so what they have to do, they have to fill up the remaining cavity. The first they have to wait when the cavities will cool down, which will take a few months. So then they have to remove the remaining radioactive materials from the cavities, apparently. And then they have to fix the cavity by filling it with some, concrete or whatever they use. And after that they can make a new construction. I think it's not so difficult.
By the way, there are some thermal maps that show that actually there's an apparent diminution in the hot spots that were originally visible within only a few weeks after 9/11.
Yes. I saw that also.
Is that consistent with your belief in the ongoing, underground fires?
Yes, of course, because that map, it shows at least 3 main spots of the hot temperatures, and one of them coincided with the middle of the World Trade Center 7. Because if the World Trade Center 7 were demolished by ordinary explosive, there will be no hot spot there.